Okay, what are you saying, people, and welcome back to another live stream. Now, before we get into this, make sure you join me on my Telegram channel. Left a link to that in the live chat and the description below. Posting different trading setups there throughout the week, and you don't be missing out on that. So make sure you go check that out. But like I said, guys, another live stream. I'm going to talk you through what's happening in the charts today and see if we've got any opportunities coming our way. So first up, I'm going to start with AUD USD. So for this one, not too much has happened since yesterday. You can see on that hourly time frame, we've practically just gone sideways. Really, price hasn't really gone anywhere. So overall consolidation there for AUD, but we're still respecting that same trend line on our 4 hourly time frame. So if I drop back to the 4 hour, you can see we've got this trend line here with first test there. If our first test up there, second, almost third, and now fourth. So price is still respecting this trend line. Potentially we can roll back over to the downside, back down to 0.77, because we know overall we are kind of still in the sideways market for AUD, but we do have a very strong support here at 0.77 that we keep failing to break. We had numerous attempts now. Again, we almost did break through it completely. Well, we did break through it, but again, that wasn't sustained, and price did a U-turn there. So overall, AUD is sideways, but slightly trending down. A break of that trend line could take us much higher, back to 0.78 or potentially even 0.79, back to those highs up there. But right now, we're still respecting that same trend line. So potentially could roll over, but need a little bit more development there, because we can see on the hourly time frame, all we've done really since yesterday, since I last spoke on the pair, is literally just moved sideways. So not much development for that pair right now, but as long as we stay underneath that trend line, I do favour price rolling over to the downside. Looking at Euro USD, again for this one's starting to find a bit of support pushing to the upside. Again, I was favouring a move to the downside for Euro USD, see if you can reject this area here of resistance and push down again. The market is still slightly bullish, so I need a little bit more for your USD there, because it looks like price might want to climb higher to go and test that area, maybe break through it or not. Again, we'll judge price action around that area. If we do reject it, there's a good chance price might have another move back down to that area there, that support, and then potentially even break through it and go a lot further. But right now, similar to AUDUSD in a way, because it kind of just really moved sideways. Last time I spoke, we're around here, and as you can see, price action is just above there. So really haven't gone anywhere there for Euro USD, but still holding that support level there in the market. Hey Money Run, how are you doing? Yeah, sure. Take a look at GPUSD now. Okay, so GPUSD, we're pushing to the upside this morning. We didn't quite break past that point. I was expecting price to go take out that previous low. We didn't quite do that. But going to the 4 hour, so again, if I just draw the range for the market, it might be that price wants to have go and test of that that resistance that we have up there again, which is kind of like the resistance of the range for GPUSD right now. We haven't tested it for some time. We've had 1, 2, 3 attempts and we haven't quite gone for it, then we fell over. But I do think because we had such a hard time pushing through, that GPUSD is starting to look a little bit bullish again. I feel like we might want to go test that 1.42100 area potentially. Again, not too sure if we'll break through it. You need quite a lot of momentum to go and do that, but I think GPUSD might try and climb its way to the upside. We do have that resistance here, kind of minor resistance there with 1, 2, 3, potentially 4, but again, I'm not seeing much value there in that resistance. But overall, GPUSD strong close down the 4H. Momentum looks like it's shifting back to the bulls. But yeah, it's not entirely clear, but I feel like we're probably going to see that continuation back to that resistance there. Breakthrough potentially, not too sure. So if you do get that breakout, we might be seeing GPUSD trending again. On the 4 hour at least, and on the daily. But yeah, it's looking like GPUSD wants to have another test of that level. What are you thinking, Money Run? Because that's what's looking clear to me there. It might roll over again from this resistance potentially, but yeah, we're looking quite bullish on the 4 hours, so I think that momentum might take us forward. Morning, Jay. How are you? How are you this morning? Any pairs you're looking at today? Pound JPY, this one's still quite bullish there as well. As you can see, pushing to the upside quite aggressively, and so we've got a bit of a strong pound this morning. Again, I was favouring JPY to come back to this area here, 154, tap into that area and maybe see some bullish momentum from there. We can still roll over, to be fair, because we are still bearish. Prices still making lower lows, lower highs. Potentially price could be coming back into this area here and then look to fall over. So I still do feel JPY can roll over to the downside. You have a nice trend line there as well, but if you were to break through this and start creating some higher highs, we could just continue in that bullish run for JPY that we have been doing for the past couple months now. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was to happen, but again, could still fall over because we do have those lower lows, lower highs. Yeah, sure, we'll take a look at gold now. Yeah, so gold, like I said, I was favouring, I still am favouring a move to the downside for gold. It's having a bit of a tough time to do that, as you can see on the 4 hourly chart. A nice push to the upside. We respect this trend line here. Again, connecting those recent swing highs at 1, 2, 3. If we jump to the hourly, again, we had a nice push up, back down again, and overall it looks like gold is slowly leaking to the downside. So I feel like gold, we could see that momentum kind of kick on a bit. Again, first target for gold was that level here around 1872 and potentially 1860, but I'm not too sure if gold will have enough momentum to get there. But right now I'm feeling gold is slowly rolling over to the downside, so I'm seeing more downside continuation for gold unless we start breaking through some levels. But right now price action is looking quite bearish here on the hourly. So yeah, I'm expecting more downside for gold. As for opportunities, I'll probably say wait for price to retrace again. If it was retraced, maybe back into that trend line, because it's rejected it quite nicely now. So maybe another test of that could be a nice place to consider looking to enter shorts, and then anticipate price rolling back over to that 18.72 area, or maybe even 18.60. But yeah, I wouldn't short it right now because it's coming back into that same support. It got rejected before, so probably want price to retrace first. And then see if you can get price to roll over, but right now it's looking quite bearish, so it could just fall without retracing, of course. But if it was to, that could be a nice opportunity to short gold. But yeah, only favouring sells at this moment in time, unless we maybe get back above that trend line. But right now, price action looks quite bearish. So yeah, I hope that analysis helped for gold. Yeah, we'll take a look at USD/CHF and EuroCAD. So USD/CHF, I'll start on the 4H time frame. So USD/CHF, like I was speaking about yesterday, got a key level here around this 0.9600 mark, sort of very key level of support. As you can see, rejected it numerous times. Bit of a false breakout here, which is what I'm going to treat that as, a bit of a false breakout through that support, and now kind of just still testing that same support. So it just depends whether USD/CHF wants to hold onto this or not, or just leap through and just continue that overall bearish trend that we've seen for the past few weeks now. So that is the key question, because if you do hold onto this, then I think we could be seeing another big push to the upside, back to these highs up here, and maybe even further. But again, if you break through, then there's a good possibility that USD/CHF will probably just continue in that bearish run that we've seen for the past few weeks now. You can see we are still kind of trending to the downside, push, pull back, push, pull back, push. Bit of consolidation here, so maybe if you were to have a nice strong break above this area, come back, retest it, and then continue to the upside, that could be a nice confirmation there for USD/CHF, because again, it's a little bit messy here, a little bit hard to read down that hourly time frame. Overall, basically just consolidation. But if you were to break above, come back, retest it, that could be a nice entry, saying that yeah, price is not breaking through that level, and then could look to take that much higher to that resistance there, potentially even higher, expecting a higher high. So yeah, USD/CHF for me, I haven't got a bias yet, but again, whether price holds this level or not will give my bias. So if this consolidation does continue and then we eventually see price just break to the downside and hold below it, then yeah, I'll be bearish on USD/CHF, expecting more downside. But if this level holds and we just have one false breakout here and this holds, then yeah, I think we could be on for a nice move to the upside for this pair, but need a bit more development there on that price action. But yeah, potential buys, potentially if we can break through that consolidation to the upside. But if we do break down, then maybe you can look for the sell opportunity on the retest, but I'm thinking more downside if you do break through that support. And EuroCAD, EuroCAD again a little bit messy as well. We've been pushing to the upside here. Overall, still very much in a bearish market. As you can see, we had that sort of double top there, and then price rejected to the downside. Looks like it's pulling back up. We do have this kind of lower high here formation, so I think if EuroCAD does hold into that, we could potentially see another continuation to the downside, because again, we do have that bearish market, so potentially we could be forming another sort of double top of that resistance and then look to fall to the downside. We do have a little bit of a trend line here in the market, which is kind of keeping us a bullish trend, so maybe if we can break through that and then look to take that lower, because right now, actually if we go back to the 4 hour, a little bit clearer, right now price is kind of just squeezing between this trend line and that resistance, and then you can either break to the upside or break to the downside. And again, I think the opportunity to the downside could be quite good, because again, we'll have the wind at our back and we could actually take this all the way back down to previous support around here. So yeah, EuroCAD potentially could be breaking to the downside. Probably want to wait for a break of that trend line maybe, because again, price is still respecting it quite well. We could obviously break to the upside, retest, continue higher. Again, that I'll probably say that setup is still a good setup, but a bit more risk involved with that one. Break to the downside looks a little bit better to me, but again, probably want to wait for a break of that trend line first, and then see if you can get a nice move lower. But yeah, EuroCAD, if it does hold to that level, which looks like it's doing, yeah, I'm favouring another move to the downside. So yeah, I hope that analysis helped for EuroCAD and USD-CHF. We'll take a look at some of the other GBP pairs. So we looked at GBP-USD, GBP-JPY. Take a look at GBP-AUD. So GBP-AUD, again, still hanging on to this trend line like we were talking about yesterday. So again, first, second, third, had that fourth, and price is still trying to push on to the upside here for GBP-AUD. Again, we were quite bearish yesterday, so I wouldn't be surprised if we were to eventually break through this trend line, but naturally you do expect price to retrace before we do see that continuation. So again, I did say we nice to get halfway, maybe back to that resistance there, and then look for continuations lower. But right now price is respecting that trend line, so I think we'll probably see another push higher for GBP-AUD. Again, I'm not really seeing any clear setup to get involved in this. You can see an hourly very choppy as well, coming to some resistance. So yeah, I'm not seeing much clarity there for any entries or any possible trades there for GBP-AUD. But if we do get higher, I think could be a nice opportunity to sell, because as you can see, we had a nice push up, aggressive sell, push up, not so aggressive, but we did sell off quite fast. Again, big push up, aggressive sell off, push up, aggressive sell off. So it's looking like the bears are starting to come to the market a lot more. So if we do see another push up, could be another inviting place to look to short and see if you can actually get a break through this trend line and see price go a little bit further. GBP-USD, again, the sibling for GBP-AUD, price is still pushing to the upside again for this one. Again, we talked about this level here, that previous resistance, now support, and again, if you do extend that across, it was acting as nice resistance and support there as well. So it does have some value here, and you can see price has used that quite nicely, and we are pushing to the upside. So GBP-AUD and GBP-USD still looking a little bit bullish. GBP-USD moving to the upside slightly better, and you can see we do have this resistance here, which price potentially could go and test again, because again, that's the previous high. Naturally, that's where you do expect price to go, to that previous high. And then potentially you could see it maybe another sell-off. But yeah, GBP-USD overall still bullish, and I think we're probably going to slowly work our way up to go and test that level there. But yeah, I'm not seeing any opportunity to take advantage of that really. Maybe if it was to pull back down again, take it back up. But yeah, I'm not really looking at GBP-USD for that. Maybe sells around here, but need a little bit more development there. But I think a little bit more continuation for GBP-AUD and GBP-USD to the upside. And then potentially could be seeing some sell-offs. Euro GBP, this one this morning, strong close to the downside. I'm favouring more downside for Euro GBP. We've had this push to the upside here. I'm just treating that as a pullback, and expecting more downside. You can see we still overly are making lower highs in this market, so I'm anticipating that to be another lower high and for us to roll back over and give us some new lows. So yeah, more downside for Euro GBP I'm favouring. So again, more pound strength come into the markets, and I think we could be seeing some new lows potentially past our previous wick here, that previous low. I think we could see some new lows past that if price action does keep up with this structure. So yeah, this whole price action here was just a big pullback of that impulse, another move there, and I think this is another pullback, and now we're going to see the continuation again. So more downside for Euro GBP, unless maybe you start breaking through this trend line here and maybe create some new highs, but right now we are looking very bearish, so only looking for selling opportunities for Euro GBP. Let's go and take a look at GB CAD. So yeah, GB CAD, this pair again still moving sideways. We're back at that resistance again, so Again, resistance 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So price has tested this resistance numerous times, and it's still struggling to break through it. Again, I'm not so keen to sell from this area here, just because of the price action we've seen here is very, very messy. And if you do sell from there, yeah, a good area of resistance, but we'll come up to that time where we're likely to see a false break or a big push up. And if you do sell, we do have a lot of support areas. If I go to the hourly time frame, there's a lot of support where price will find support and potentially reverse back to your entry. So it's a tough time for GBCAD to look to buy or sell this pair, just because how messy it is and how long it's taking it from move from one place to another. So yeah, I'll be staying away for GBCAD. I want a bit more clarity here with this pair. We do have a nice trend line here in the market on the 4H, so maybe a break of that could give us a nice swing to the downside there. But yeah, I'm not really favoring any sort of move for this pair. Potentially could get a break to the upside with this price action actually, and maybe see price move higher. But yeah, not really wanting to get involved in that. Potentially maybe could take advantage of a break and retest sort of thing. But yeah, not looking to get involved. GBCAD, the price action is not really much to my liking. Good morning, how are you? Welcome to the live stream. Again, any pairs you want me to take a look at, just drop it in the live chat and I'll make sure I'll give you some analysis on those pairs. But yeah, welcome to the live stream. Next, going to take a look at GPCHF. So GPCHF, again, similar to GPNSD in terms of the price action, a little bit all over the place, but this one has a little bit more clarity towards it. You can see we do have a key level here that price is rejecting, and we are starting to make some low highs again. So it looks like GPCHF is turning bearish again, and we'll probably see price maybe have one more push up and then fall down to the downside again. So you can see we've tried to break through this resistance here, but overall we are failing to do so, and we're starting to fall over to the downside. So anticipating another lower high and then the continuation lower. So yeah, only looking for shorts really for GPCHF. Price action again, like GBCAD, still a little bit messy, so might have a tough time coming down, but I think the move is to the downside. We could be seeing a bigger move here, potentially even back to these lows here, which price hasn't revisited yet. So that looks like a good target where price could potentially go in the next couple of days or so. Yeah, for GPCHF. So yeah, only looking for those sells, and I think there's a good chance price will roll over, but I want a bit more retrace first, give me another lower high, and then look to short it back down. But yeah, that is what I'm favoring for GPCHF. Next, going to take a look at USD CAD. USD CAD, again, another pair that is moving sideways. Again, clear resistance there, the market clear support here as well, having a tough time moving up and down. Last week, just before the market sort of closed, we did tap into that resistance here, nice rejection, but I think we're still falling to the downsides here. A little bit of a trend line, which is probably why maybe price had a bit of a push to the upside, but I feel like a break of that trend line and we're probably going to see price roll over to the downside again for USD CAD. So that is what I'm favoring for this pair. More downside for USD CAD. Again, very, very messy as well. If it was to come back to that resistance, would be a good selling opportunity, yes. But yeah, it's just a bit too choppy for me. But maybe a break of that trend line, a retest, and we could see some bit clearer price action and maybe a good entry to take that lower. But yeah, I'm not really favouring getting to USD CAD at this moment in time. But if I was to favour a move, it would be to the downside and a break of that trend line if we do get it, and then a push back down to that support, back down to 1.20200. Next, we'll take a look at USDJPY. So USDJPY overall for this one still kind of in that channel there as well. Price is tested at 1, 2, 3. And we've had a few tests there, so price might want to roll back over to come and test this trend line here. Having a hard time to do that. But yeah, I think USD could potentially roll over, test that trend line. Whether we get a break of it, not too sure. But if we do, I think we could be seeing a bigger downtrend for this pair and really see price take off. Because again, I do feel USD wants to move lower, but right now it's just having a bigger retracement to have that that sell-off. So I feel like if you were to move to the upside, could be a nice potential opportunity to look to short back to that resistance and take advantage of some sells. So that is what I am waiting for USDJPY. Whether it will happen or not too sure. But if we do get that retracement higher, I will look to see if I can short that down. Get a nice area of resistance there. Potential sort of head and shoulders formation. And then look to take that lower to the downside. So yeah, if we do get the move up, I will look to take that down. But again, price, because it's so close to that trend line, it might just fall to the downside anyway and continue. In that case, I just won't get involved. But yeah, if you do see some more retracement, I will look to see if you can get in some shorts and look to take this lower, back down to that lower trend line. And if you break through that, back down to around the 108,400 mark. Next, going to take a look at some of the NZD pairs. So take a look at NZD USD. Again, for this one, I was favouring moving to the downside yesterday. We did see a bit of that happen. I'm still favouring some more downside actually for NZD USD. However, we're having a tough time doing that. You can see on the hourly time frame, we've had a nice move lower, but overall we found support and price action is kind of just moving sideways right now. So a little bit indecisive there for NZD USD. We might want to push higher and look to retrace some price action first before we do move lower. So that potentially what could be happening for NZD USD, but again, a little bit choppy this pair. And overall, you can see on the Friday time frame, yeah, we just be moving sideways as well. So again, not the best pair out there in my opinion, but if you do see that move lower, it could be a really nice opportunity. So yeah, looking for sells for the USD, but right now I'm not seeing any opportunity. So we'll have my eye on it, but not convinced just yet. So we'll be waiting on the sidelines to see if we can get a better opportunity. NZJPY, this pair again still trending to the upside, got clear higher highs, higher lows. Right now we've pushed to the downside slightly. Again, we did have a break of that trend line there, and I was expecting to see a bit more of a sell-off, which could still happen, of course, but we're having a tough time breaking past this support. So it's giving me an indication that price might want to move higher because it is breaking for that support. But yeah, again, no real opportunity there for me. Break of that support could take us back down to this area, which is a nice place to look for buys. But yeah, only in that break, then I'll get interested again for NZJPY. But as of right now, yeah, not really interested in NZJPY. EuroJPY, however, I am waiting for an opportunity for this one. We've had a really nice sell-off from last week, and we're coming back into this level here. And I want to see if we can get some nice rejection from here, and then I will be looking for sells for EuroJPY. Sells from there, or potentially if we come back to these highs again, I will be looking for sells there as well, because we have broken through some structure. We've had a big sell-off, and I think we could see some continuation, and this bullish price action here could just be a retrace of that move down. So we'll be looking for sells for EuroJPY from this level here. Want price to move a little bit higher first before I get interested, and then if we do get some nice confirmations, we'll look to take that down. Yeah, take that down and potentially look to target these areas. Oh, wrong one. These areas around here as targets for EuroJPY. But right now I want to see price move up a little bit higher first, and then I'll look to get involved. But yeah, looking for sells for EuroJPY. I'm going to take a look at EUR/AUD and EUR/NZD now. EUR/AUD, again, like I did say yesterday, I'm looking for a move lower for EUR/AUD. Looking for sells for this pair after this big sell-off we had not yesterday, last week. And now I'm waiting for the retrace to be over. I'm looking to sell this pair. Again, we do have a nice level here of support, which is now acting as resistance, as you can see. But I did say I'm more leaning, more favouring. I'm favouring a move back up to here first, and then looking for the sell-off. Of course, we could just reject this area, which we are doing right now, and fall off to the downside anyway. But I want to see a bit more retracement again, have that better risk to reward and possibility of catching more pips from that level there. So that is what I'm waiting for Euro AUD. I want to see if price can break through the levels currently testing right now, come and test the one up there, and I'll look for some sells. Again, first target being this level here, and the second target probably being this recent low if we can break through that. But again, price is having a hard time trying to break through this level here. You can see on the hourly, we tried to break through it once, second time failed. So yeah, we could roll over again, but yeah, I will not be taking part in that move if that does happen. We'll be waiting to see if we can get a bit of retracement first. Euro NZD, this one not as clear as Euro AUD. You can see on the daily price action, hasn't been really the best here. Nice selling opportunities, however, actually from these levels up here, some nice selling opportunities that occurred. Not sure if I'll be favouring to sell it again when it comes back up here, because now it's starting to seem that USD, Euro NZD, wants to potentially break through this level and go higher. So I'm not too sure if I want to sell that. I'd rather price reject from there, come back here, now look to buy that back up again. Because as you can see, this here is kind of like the midpoint of this range, and now price has actually failed to break past the midpoint. So that for me is the first indication that price wants to have a breakout now of this range, and because it's bounced to the upside from the midpoint, so failed to break through it, now bouncing up, just giving me an indication that price wants to break to the upside out of this range. Because normally before you do see a breakout of a range, you normally see price fail at breaking through the midpoint of the range and then break out. So that's my first indication that price might want to break out. Of course, it doesn't have to. You can still roll over, go and break through the midpoint again, then fall to the downside. But more often than not, once you see this happen, normally we do break to the upside. So that's why I'm not too eager to sell at that resistance there for Euro NZD. But yeah, we could reject it and then fall to the downside, but I'd rather buy from this support again if you were to revisit it. So yeah, not eager to sell that Euro NZD pair just yet, rather sell Euro AUD, which does make a lot more sense with that price action. But of course, they do tend to move the same anyway, so if Euro NZD was to start trending up, there's a good chance Euro AUD will follow suit behind it. So that might complicate things, but again, just going to stay consistent with the price action. And in my opinion, and analysing both pairs, Euro AUD does look a lot better for shorts. Going to take a look at CAD JPY. So again, another JPY pair. This one, I was expecting price to fall a little bit further, kind of rejecting this area here in the market. Previous resistance that we didn't retest, which we are retesting now, is holding quite firmly. I was expecting price to fall a little bit lower, come and test this area around here. However, as you can see, it doesn't look like price is wanting to come to that area. So you might be seeing a bit of CAD JPY bullishness, and maybe pushing back up again, back to that previous high there. Whether I'll look to sell, probably not. It's because, again, CAD JPY is still very much in a very strong bullish trend. So me selling there will be a little bit on the aggressive side. I need a little bit more development and price action to give me a bit more reason to sell there. And yeah, I'm not really getting much of that right now, but potentially could be actually a good buy. On the other hand, from here to here, because potentially looks like CAD JPY is on another run to the upside. Well, potentially could be on another run to the upside, and we've kind of got that trend line as the last kind of barrier before we can expect to see a bigger push up. So a break of that trend line could take us back to those highs around the 9100 area, but yeah, probably want to wait for a break of that trend line, because price could fall back down again and just do a bit of this and then break lower. And in that case, if we do that, then I will be waiting for price to get to that 90 region, which is around here, and I will be looking for buys around here, but as you can see, I haven't really got that price action just yet, so we'll be waiting for that. Next, we're going to take a look at Euro CHF. So Euro CHF, we broke to the downside recently. As you can see, very key level of support here in the market. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Broke to the downside on the 6th test, and my overall price is still quite bearish now for this pair. As you can see, price still has that bearish trend. I was expecting price to break to the upside and give us another push higher up. However, price action was too bearish and was still falling to the downside. So reevaluating that, I think Euro CHF might want to move a lot further to the downside. I don't think this bearish trend is finished at all anymore. I think we'll probably see a bigger drop coming up soon for USD-CHF, especially if you fail to get back above this area. And I feel like we could be seeing a nice drop for USD-CHF to the downside. Again, similar for GBP-CHF, again my analysis for that one as well, expecting a move lower, back down to this support. So if USD-CHF does follow behind, that's what I'm thinking we could be seeing for this pair as well, a nice move to the downside. So we might be seeing some strength in the CHF. And again, CHF JPY, which I have not analysed yet. This one we had a nice break of the trend line, I believe, from last week. However, as you can see, price hasn't really kicked off, and we're starting to find some strength again to the upside. So again, USD-CHF, CHF JPY, sorry, has been very bullish over the past few weeks now. We had this large area consolidation, which was just building up. And as you can see, price is now relieving itself with that big push to the upside. So price action is still very much one-sided to the, going up. So again, any selling opportunities will have to be taken on the lower time frames and not looking to hold on it for too long, because price could easily switch and turn bullish again in this current climate here. So I think with this price action here, we're quite likely to see CHF JPY back at these highs again, back at 122,500 quite soon, probably by the end of the week. I think we can be up there, especially if you do see a bit more JPY weakness, because again, Euro JPY looking for another push up there. CAD JPY might see a push up, GBP JPY might see another push up as well. So it looks like we might be seeing some JPY weakness coming in, which could help CHF JPY push up. But yeah, my bias is firmly to the upside for this pair. Price is still very bullish here, and looks like we're going to see just a continuation of that trend. We've also broken through this trend line here as well. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, broke on it on the 5th, and looks like we're having a bit of consolidation, which looks like another preparation for a big push to the upside, if you can break to the upside, of course. But yeah, that is what I'm favouring for CHF JPY, and potentially even new highs as well, from looking at the higher time frame. So yeah, probably favouring some new highs, but yeah, more continuation to the upside for CHF JPY. Could be an opportunity to trade it, actually, to be fair. Maybe on the break and retest of that. I wouldn't just buy it now, because again, you're buying into resistance, and we could actually fall to the downside there again. So maybe if you were to fall to the downside again, reject it, that could be a nice area to buy, anticipating price breaking through that resistance and then looking for the continuation. But overall, CHF looks very bullish to me, so I'm expecting more upside for CHF JPY. Next, we're going to take a look at CAD CHF. So CAD CHF has fallen to the downside this week, which was expected. I'm expecting CAD CHF actually, from a daily point of view, to give us a bit of a bearish trend here in this market. I think we could be falling back down to these areas all the way down there. So again, that's a bit more long-term analysis. We've got probably around 140 pips or so to the downside there, but yeah, not looking to take advantage of that whole move. But I feel like CAD CHF has a good chance of falling to the downside. Right now, we're coming back into that support, so of course not looking for selling opportunities there. We do have a key level of previous support, which is now resistance. I can see support, broke through it. So I think if CAD CHF was to push back into this area here again, oh, that is poorly drawn, push back into this area again, give us some nice confirmation from there. We'll look to short from that area, anticipate move back into that previous support there, and then of course if we can get a break, we'll look to hold onto that trade a little bit further and maybe target some areas within that move to the upside. But yeah, my downside, my bias is to the downside for CAD CHF, which again does play into the idea that CHF is going to see some strength over the next few days and maybe weeks as well. So CAD CHF looking for a move to the downside, Euro CHF move to the downside, GP CHF move to the downside. So with all those pairs kind of in sync, it's looking good for shorts on those pairs. Of course, a lot of those pairs we've already had a move to the downside, like CAD CHF's already had a quite a big move, so we definitely want to see some retrace. Like I said, back into the area does have a good potential for a nice setup to short. GP CHF, we had a move to the downside recently, so I want to see another move up, which we are sort of having there for GP CHF right now, but I want to see a little bit more retracement, kind of halfway of that move there, so which we have kind of almost already tested anyway, to be fair, but I want to see price probably move a little bit higher, and then I'll look to short. Nice area around here, and then look to short that back down. Euro CHF, again for this one, not really too keen on shorting, to be fair, since we just broke through that major support. It does open up the ideas for break and retest entry, but yeah, I'm not looking to take a break and retest on that just because it's such a key level and does have a good opportunity of having a false break. So if anything for Euro CHF, I want to see another move back up high again and then to short it. But yeah, Euro CHF, GP CHF and CAD CHF do look good for shorts. Going to take a look at some of the other NZD pairs. So NZD CHF, again for this one's just completely still bearish here. So again, we still do have very much a bearish trend in here. And again, the CHF has been strong, so this is essentially why we've been trending to the downside, because of the strength of the CHF, and that's still just ticking away for this pair. So again, just more downside. I feel like there's a good possibility that we'll probably see price back at these lows here, and potentially even further as well, so some new lows. So if you were to see another push back up again, maybe back into that resistance, I think that's just another excuse to add some shorts in NZD CHF and target these lows back here again. So although we do look very, very bearish here, and price is likely just to fall to the downside anyway and test that support, if you were for some reason to see a push to the upside, give us another lower high, yeah, we'll be looking for some shorts there, anticipating another move back into that 0.64300 and potentially some new lows there as well. Hello David, welcome to the live stream. How are you doing? Again, if you have any pairs that you want me to take a look at, or you're currently in any trades, or if anyone's in any trades at the moment, drop in the live chat or take a look at them. Feel free. But yeah, NZD CHF, if we do see a move up, just will look to short that down and just continue the overall structure of the market. Same thing for AD CHF. Actually no, AD CHF will actually in this area of support here, so probably not the best ideas there, because we could actually see a bounce higher from this area actually, because it looks like we've just had a false breakout, price come back to retest it. So I wouldn't look to short AD CHF. If you were to push up again and then come back to this area here, then yeah, I'll look to short it, but from there, no, I'm not looking to short AD CHF. On the break and retest, potentially, that could be a good idea, but I'm not really favouring that right now. Because again, it's a little bit choppy, the price action, and overall we've had a really big move to the downside. So I want to see a bit more retracement to get me interested, but yeah, price action is not looking the best here for AD CHF, back at support. Not sure if we'll hold on to it or not. On the Friday candle, as you can see, we did pull all the way back here. So price is having a hard time pushing on. It's certainly rejected it previously, but yeah, it's looking a little bit bearish if I go on that hourly time frame. So yeah, not too sure if it will hold on. If it does hold on, then yeah, potential buys actually, and then maybe short it again. We're back at this resistance up there. But yeah, no opportunity right now for ADCHF. Taking a look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, like I did say yesterday, we're looking very bearish. We did see more continuation to the downside. Now we're starting to retrace. Again, we still do have key area support 30,000, which we've only tested once, and I think we can go and get a second test of that area. And the first test was from that big collapse that we had a couple of weeks ago now, because this is the daily chart. So yeah, a couple of weeks ago. I feel like we can go get a second test of that level, and again you can see we were quite close anyway. So I think like see a bit more retrace and then price fall over again, because I still feel Bitcoin has a bit more downside to it before maybe reversing up. And yeah, we are still making those lower highs there as well. So I think potentially we can see Bitcoin roll over, test 30,000, then from here could be a nice area to look for buys if we can hold that level. But overall, Bitcoin's still very, very bearish for me. AUD NZD for this pair, again, still chugging to the upside. Again, I was expecting to see a bit more of a reaction from AUD/NZD at this resistance. However, it's actually broken through, used it as support, as you can see there, used it as support and kicked off to the upside. On the daily chart, still pushing to the upside. I think we're just having a larger retracement here for AUD/NZD, because if I was to get a fib from that high to that high, you can see the 50% is around there, which we might see a bit more of a reaction. But I think we're retracing that big move now for this pair, because we had a really nice downtrend. I think it's coming to an end, or at least a counter trend move and then come to an end. So yeah, AUD/NZD will be looking for shorts for this pair around this area. If we can slowly push up to the upside a little bit more, then from here, great selling opportunity back down into that support there, and does have a nice range to it. Again, AUD/NZD doesn't have that many pips, but 76 pips is not that bad to the downside there for this pair. So again, shorts from up there, but still got quite a way, but we'll be having it on the radar, and a pushback down to 1.07 200 could be a really nice move, looking at from a daily 4-hourly point of view. So yeah, back to GPUSD. This pair again is very sideways. Overall price is still rejecting kind of this level just before that key resistance there on the 4H. Again, that's kind of like the range of it, and then we've got this level on the 1H just before that level, and price is still rejecting it. But yeah, I'm not too sure if we'll see a break or not. Overall, not much clarity there for me for GPUSD. I'm still favouring price continue to the upside back to this level here, because of the momentum we're seeing here for GPUSD on the 4-hourly time frame. You can see we had a very strong close there at 10 AM, and I think we could see a continuation of that, see a little bit more bullish momentum there, but overall price is still moving sideways, so still a little bit hard to judge for GPUSD, but we'll see what price wants to do. And similar for EURUSD as well, we rejected that area nicely. Looks like price is pushing up. So yeah, like I said, it looks like EURUSD wants to come back to this level here. And then again, if we do get a nice selling opportunity, we'll look to capitalize on it. But yeah, there is a chance price might want to break through that level as well. So we'll see what price wants to do here, and then potential sells back into that support. But if it does stay bullish and then break through, we'll just leave EURUSD alone, because I think it might want to be if it does break through that, it might want to continue in that overall bullish trend and just continue a lot further. So again, I won't keep my sell bias if that does happen. But yeah, potential sells from there. But if it does break through, might start thinking about changing that bias. And it does line up quite nicely with that trend line there as well. So interested to see what happens there. But if price does break through it, then yeah, I will be open to change my bias and maybe look for longs as well. But yeah, guys, if you are looking at any pairs or do have any trades on at the moment, feel free to share, drop it in the live chat. Let's take a look at it, see what's going on, and yeah, just give you my opinion and my analysis. Okay, so I'm going to take a quick look at gold, see what's happening with that pair. So yeah, my bias is to the downside for gold. Um, Again, we've had a really nice drop from last week. Again, as you can see, nice push back down to 1860. From there, nice rejection, and I feel like we're coming back over and potentially giving us another lower high to roll over to the downside. Again, we've got 1, 2, potentially 3, and then roll over to the downside. So that's what I'm seeing there for gold. Again, we've got that trend line as well, which price is respecting. For opportunities, I'd like to see a bit of retracement first and then look to short it. Again, we've got a nice trend line there. That could be an area of interest to take it lower. Because again, wouldn't short it right now since we are coming back into support. But yeah, my bias is to the downside for gold, but no opportunity to take advantage of that yet. Maybe if you were to retrace back in that trend line, reject it, get some nice confirmation, then could look to short it. But right now, not too interested in gold at the moment. But yeah, for my bias for this pair, it would be to the downside unless we just start breaking through and give us some higher highs. And then I'll probably look to change my bias. But right now, this is potentially our lower high, and we're slowly just rolling over to the downside. And as for targets, I think we can go hit 1872, key area of demand there, big push up, or 1860, which is a key level on the daily. But at least 1872 if we do roll over. But yeah, I want to see some retracement first and then potentially roll over to the downside after rejecting that trend line. So that's what I'll be looking for. But of course, we could even fall to the downside without retracing anyway. And if that happens, I will not be taking part of the move. But if it does, we can get involved after some retrace because I don't really want to short into that support. But yeah, bias is firm to the downside for gold. GPUSD still at that same resistance. I still feel like we can potentially break through that area and see it move into that resistance up there, potentially even further. But yeah, GPUSD still stuck at that same resistance, but I feel a break is coming on. USD still pushing to the outside. Again, I want to see what happens with that level up there. See if we reject it or break through it. If we do break through it, then I won't be looking to get involved with USD because we probably are going to turn bullish there. Create some higher highs past that area. But if you do reject that and reject this trend line that we have in the market on the 4 hourly, then we might roll back over. But we need to see what price action we're getting here. Right now, price is still far too bullish, so not really interested there. But we'll keep my eye out on this particular area for USD. See if we do turn bearish at one point, and then I'll get interested in some sells. Okay, people, so it's just come up to 12 p.m, so I'm going to look to end the live stream shortly. Again, quick run down some of the pairs that we looked at before, see what's happening with those pairs, and then I'll look to end the live stream after that. So Euro USD, like I said before, coming up to this area here, resistance, got the trend line plus, obviously that level up there. Again, I want to see what happens with price action in this level here, well, in this area here. See if we reject it, it can turn bearish, and then potentially could look for a move back down into this support. And if you get a break of that support, could go a lot further. But generally from that area, got the trend line and that resistance, so could see some nice potential sells. But if you do remain bullish and actually break through, then I think a retest and a continuation much higher for Euro USD if we do that. So eyes on that area to see if we can get some rejection. GBP USD for this one, again rejecting that resistance there in the market. 1, 2, 3, and now the fourth. If it breaks it again, I do see more continuation to the upside, but it looks like it's having a hard time, so might see some retrace lower. But overall, GPUSD still rejecting that level, so again, still undecided. Overall, it is moving sideways. Potentially could sell off, but again, not convinced just yet. So we'll be on the sidelines a bit for GPUSD, want a bit more development there. But if you do see a break of this level, I think we could continue a lot further. USD CAD, this one's still bearish, like I said before. A break of this trend line, we got a good opportunity of taking us lower back down to these previous swing lows of the market. We reject that resistance quite well, and now we're forming these lower highs here in the market, and I think we're just going to see price roll over and give us another move back down to this support and a break of that trend line. It looks like the confirmation of that move, so more downside for USD CAD unless we get back above this key level, but at this price action I don't see that happening just yet. So anticipating USD CAD back down to 1.20200. USD not much has happened with this pair. I said I'll be waiting for opportunity if we can move higher back into this resistance. Now we look for selling opportunities because we do have this channel. However, I don't really want to sell down here. I want to see if price can retrace first for me, and then I'll look to take it lower back down into that same trend line, and a break will take me a lot further. But yeah, we could roll over from where we are here right now. There's nothing stopping price, but again, I would rather see price move up first, give me a better opportunity to sell, and then I'll take that lower. And finally, AUD USD. So again, for this one, price is still overall moving sideways, but we do have this slight bearish market here with these lower highs and that trend line. And I said if price just maintains that trend line, does it break through it, keeps rejecting it, there's a good chance we'll go roll over back down to 0.77, and a break of 0.77 probably back down to that recent swing low. Overall, price hasn't really done anything though. If I jump onto that hourly time frame, as you can see, overall still moving sideways pretty much. I can draw a box around that price action, and we haven't really gone anywhere. So need a lot more development there for AUD, but if you do maintain that trend line, probably break out these lows, there's a good possibility that price probably head down to that support there. So yeah, more downside for AUD unless we get back above that trend line. But yeah, that is the end of the live stream, guys. I hope you all enjoyed that and found that useful. Like always, guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button and drop a like if you're feeling generous. Check out my Telegram channel, left a link to that in the live chat and also the description below. Posting different trading setups there throughout the week, and you don't want to be missing out on that. But like I said, guys, end of the live stream. Thanks again for watching, does mean a lot, and I'll catch you on the next one.